When you go on safari, you're there to see the animals in their natural habitat, to experience their life and to connect with them in a different way than you would be able to at a zoo or watching a TV special. The challenge is that sometimes the way that you experience their lives can be extremely uncomfortable, but incredibly powerful. This video showcases one of those experiences for me, and it happened on my first safari, which was in South Luangwa in Zambia. And so basically what had happened is this hippo had injured itself and apparently broken its legs at some point the previous night. So when the day came, it wasn't able to walk back down into the water like they normally do. And we spotted it early that morning as we were making our rounds and doing our day safari, and circled back to it that evening. And right as we pulled up, a leopard had just finished starting to feed on the hippo. And it was still all bloody, and it walked about 20 feet away and then laid down and started to clean its paws. There were two hyena at that point that had smelled blood and come in to see what was going on. And one of them approached to kind of seek approval before it then moved in. What made this a very difficult kill is that it wasn't a clean kill. This hippo had injured itself, but it was still very much alive. Unfortunately, all it could do was stand up on its front legs, and it couldn't do anything beyond that. The leopard had watched it and had figured this out, and so had approached in one of two soft spots on a hippo. And the hippos have incredibly thick hides, so they're almost bulletproof within the animal kingdom. But they have two weak points, and one is underneath the neck, and the other is right underneath its tail. And so the leopard had gone in and figured out where the range of motion was for this hippo and had started to feed on this hippo underneath the tail. The hyena zeroed in on the point where the leopard had opened the hippo up, and then they began to feed, and that's the footage you're seeing. And it was really rough, because at first we thought the hippo was probably paralyzed and hopefully couldn't feel it. It didn't make any sounds, it didn't make any noise, but as you can see, at one point it does end up actually standing up in response. So, while it's hard to know how much it was feeling, it does look like it was probably suffering some. And from a humanistic standpoint, you feel like you need to step in, like, this hippo obviously isn't going to survive. Can we shoot it? Can we do something? And the difficult reality is that you're there and you're not allowed to interfere in any way, shape, or form, and that's the right course of action. But it really makes it that much more difficult. Now, the upside that really kind of offset that difficult experience was that over the following 2.5 days, we watched the circle of life come full circle. So luckily, the hippo was dead by the following morning, and hopefully it had bled out and had died fairly quickly. But when we circled back around, we saw the hyena starting to feed, and they would eat until they were so fat they looked pregnant and could barely move. And then the vultures started to move in, and I expected the corpse to stink and to start to rot and to fester and to be there for a long period of time. But amazingly, within about 2.5 days, every piece of tissue had been picked clean, and all that was left was the skull and the spinal column. So this one hippo had fed, I would imagine at least 100, 150 animals, and had really, it had perpetuated the circle of life. So it was an incredibly rich experience, but an incredibly difficult experience. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, but even watching this footage now, it makes me a little bit queasy.